It packs a lot in a small space, efficiently uses the minimum amount of resources. It's not a product but the peapod, which is possibly the greatest example of sustainable packaging design nature can provide. Throughout the supply chain, a footprint is created where energy and resource usage can be measured. This is why sustainable practices in packaging are important for an effective supply chain. A study by Accenture found that retailers can realize from 3% to 5% supply chain cost savings via green packaging initiatives. So if you extrapolate that type of savings out across multiple tiers of supply chain activity, where packaging is the common denominator, the efficiencies and savings could be rack up quickly. Sustainable packaging relies on best engineering, energy management, materials science and life cycle thinking to minimize the environmental impact of a product through its life cycle. Moreover, Vision Gain, a research organization, wrote a new report which highlights because of a variety of drivers such as carbon emissions, extended producer responsibility and waste reduction targets plus advanced packaging technologies, the sustainable and green packaging market's worth is expected to reach $107.7 billion in 2011. Mr. Sood, an expert in supply chain and who co-wrote Green Supply Chain, an Action Manifesto, explained in his book that for many organizations, packaging presents one of the most readily available opportunities to both reduce costs and reduce the overall environmental impact. By enabling suppliers to suggest design, material, and other related changes as a part of the sourcing process, organizations can often achieve significant savings. In a communiqué, Vivek Sood, the managing director of Global Supply Chain Group, said benefits of green packaging are not restricted to cost reductions only. Packaging is frequently the first thing that consumers notice about a product, and there is a large primary impression made on the consumer. This is before they see, feel, touch or use the product itself. It must be kept in mind that what is cutting edge today will be out of date perhaps a few months. Hence there is a need for continual improvement. New materials, processes, technologies, suppliers will come online and create both possible additional cost and environmental savings. An effective green supply chain program will therefore have built into it an ability to continually innovate and improve. About Global Supply Chain Group, Global Supply Chain Group is proactive in creating, configuring, and formulating effective, secure and sustainable supply chains around the world. With a collective supply chain experience of more than 120 years, the senior team in Global Supply Chain Group has worked on more than 100 blue-chip projects on all continents, adding in excess of $1.5 billion in value to their clients' businesses. Large corporations rely on Global Supply Chain Group to deliver outstanding results in their supply chain strategy, supply chain sustainability, supply chain security and supply chain performance. Global Supply Chain Group works very closely, and sometimes anonymously, with the senior executive teams of large corporations to help them win outstanding global supply chain advantage through supply chain transformations and design, supply chain strategies and execution, supply chain infrastructure and efficiency, supply chain information technology and integration, supply chain processes and personnel. No matter what your supply chain issues or questions are, it is worthwhile reaching out and making a connection with us on www.globalsupplychaingroup.com. Contact details: Global Supply Chain Group, 102 621 Pacific Highway, St. Leonards, NSW 2065, Australia. Telephone +61 289 694, fax +61 289 689, email info@globalsgroup.com, web www.globalsgroup.com.